This is a mini episode this week. I want to help you reduce the overwhelm and the confusion when it comes to disposing of things that you've decluttered. Most of my clients want to be sustainable about this. That's a big reason that they hire me. But sometimes they're disappointed because we can't find a good outlet for something that they wanted to let go of. It's not easy. So today I want to give you as clear of an overview as I can of what you can do to let go of your decluttered stuff as sustainably as possible. Welcome to Organizing for Beautiful Living. I'm Z Siman, the choosy organizer. This podcast is for the women who are done organizing everything and they're ready to be choosy about what matters, what's enough, and what can wait. This is episode 125. Okay, I'm giving you a simple way to think about letting go of stuff sustainably, category by category. And for each category, I'll give you the options in this general order: sell, donate, and recycle or upcycle. Not every category needs all four of these or has all of these available. You just need to know who to call or where to look for each. Okay? Let's start with electronics because e-waste is one of the worst things that you can send to a landfill. So first you can try to sell it. Check the trade-in programs at Apple, Best Buy, and other retailers. Then go local, your local online marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, that kind of thing. I know people who have sold old tube TVs and old stereo receivers, and turntables are having a real revival right now. So don't assume that nobody wants to buy your boombox, okay? There's somebody out there who wants it. Now, if it won't sell, then donate it. The National Christina Foundation works with a partner called Digitunity, and they collect usable computers, refurbish them, and get them to people who don't have access to a device at all. That is their mission. Now, recycling. In my research for this episode, I found that a lot of electronics recycling drop-off points don't guarantee that your device actually gets recycled once it leaves your hands. Now, there have been tracking investigations that put GPS trackers in old electronics, and they found that devices that were dropped off at what looked like responsible recycling programs ended up being exported overseas instead of being processed here. So the drop-off box alone isn't proof that something responsible is happening to your electronics. What seems to actually matter is whether the recycler is what's called R2 or eStewards certified. Those seem to be the two certifications that mean that an independent auditor checked their process. So if you're in Miami, Electronic Recycling Center is R2 certified, and they have a location on Northwest 36th Avenue. So that's a place to look into. Next, we have clothing. So sell first if it's worth your time. Online marketplaces like Poshmark and Depop can get you the most money, but they take a lot of effort. You have to take good photos, you have to set up the listing and take care of the shipping. Now, if you'd rather hand off that whole process, ThreadUp does it for you. You'll make a lot less, but you get your time back, and they'll donate whatever doesn't sell if you tell them to. Local consignment shops are another option. Just know that they will only take what they believe their particular clientele will actually buy. So they may not take everything. Donate what's left, but make sure you run it through what I call the guest test first. If you wouldn't hand that item to a guest in your home to actually use because it's stained or ripped or it's worn through, well, then a resale organization can't sell it either. And then you're just handing them your trash to take care of. So what actually can happen to a piece of clothing once it's stained for good or worn through or not sellable and it's not usable to make into anything else? The realistic path here is that it gets sold to a company that turns it into wiping rags, or it gets shredded down into things like insulation or car seat stuffing. And that's not guaranteed for every type of fabric. A stained cotton t-shirt can be used for things that a stained polyester blend workout top just can't, right? And that points to the bigger issue of fabrics. Most clothing that's made today isn't truly recyclable, meaning you can't get it back to the fibers that can then be used to make other fabric. Most fabrics aren't even compostable because most of it isn't one specific material. we have a lot of blended materials in our clothing now, and the blending happens back at the yarn stage. So a shirt that says 98% cotton can still have enough spandex spun through it that you never be able to spot it, but that makes it not compostable. Coatings do the same thing. Anything treated to be stain resistant or water resistant has a layer of plastic sealed to it, and that layer will keep it from breaking down at all, ever. Now, there's one, maybe a bright spot if you're in a town or city that has programs of their own. Miami Beach, for example, has textile bins at a few fire stations and the youth centers that take clothing regardless of condition. And there's a company here called Amclex on Northwest 37th Avenue. Now, they seem to take clothing regardless of condition also. I couldn't confirm exactly what happens to the unsellable pieces there, whether it gets shredded locally or graded and shipped overseas. So I can't promise you that it becomes insulation. What I can tell you is that it's a place to start, okay? Make the phone call and find out. And I apologize that I didn't have a chance to before recording this episode. And shredding isn't a forever fix either. Rags and insulation are still fabric, so they'll wear out too. And eventually they're going to head to the landfill just the same as everything else. The one thing that actually solves this problem is not glamorous. It's to buy less clothing and get more life out of what you already own. So repair it and alter it as much as you're able. There is also upcycling, which is not only sustainable, but it's a source for creative outlet. And you can use most types of fabrics to upcycle. If you sew even a little bit, you can maybe turn a pair of torn jeans into a denim tote bag, for example. You just need to find a beginner tutorial online and follow it. And if you don't sew, well, you can host a clothing swap instead. That's particularly good for evening wear and kids' clothes that have life left in them. That's exactly what a swap with friends is for. Okay, next up, books. To sell books, think about where your specific books have value. A used bookstore will often give you cash or store credit on the spot. Anything rare or out of print or collectibles would do better on eBay. And for the rest, some people just donate them straight out, which is really, the simplest path if the money isn't worth your time. So donate to your local library, but don't give them textbooks, workbooks, or anything annotated or filled in. Or you can also donate to your local thrift shops or charity shops that take books. Ask them first if they take books. And you can also swap books with friends or look for a coffee shop with a swap shelf. That works out great too. And for recycling, just make sure you pull off any plastic dust jackets or plastic coated book covers first, and then put them in your curbside recycling. Housewares is another category I see a lot of. Grandma's silverware or a dish set that you don't use anymore. So try selling locally first or on eBay. But remember, anything online, you're going to have to deal with packing and shipping. But there are some people out there who are looking to complete a set that they have. And so they want exactly one plate or one knife in that pattern that they already own. And then donate what's left to a local thrift shop. But again, first call to ask them if they have room. And then also run it through the guest test. Remember, nothing crazily broken, okay? Because they can't resell it. Upcycling, of course, can work for some things. You can use a pitcher as a vase, or you can use dish sets that nobody wants for your kids' birthday party tea, right? Let neighbors know that you have this stuff. And if anyone is hosting a big dinner and wants to borrow or take them off your hands, hey, that's great. And you can be creative. I'm thinking of tutorials using broken pieces of ceramics to make a fun base for a tray or a unique tabletop. If that's your thing, go for it. Big furniture is the hardest category that I've come across lately. So you can try selling locally for pickup only on your local marketplace first. If that doesn't work, put it on your Buy Nothing group, which I should have added to all the other categories too, by the way. It's probably the best way to get something into the hands of the exact person who wants it, right? Now, for donating to organizations, call around before you just assume that someone will take it. Habitat Restore and Salvation Army are a couple of the obvious ones, but you can also look for organizations that furnish housing for people transitioning out of homelessness or out of incarceration. But the size of the furniture is the biggest roadblock here. Most of the housing there just aren't set up for an person sectional, right? And the last category is the odds and ends. What do you do with the broken coffee maker, the rusty screwdriver, the single shoe, the half-used can of paint? Well, first, try to fix it. You can look for a repair cafe near you that's free, or find a tutorial and give it a shot yourself before you assume that it's a goner. If it's worth more than your time, then do call a repair shop. They still exist in some localities, okay? And if it can't be fixed, call your municipal recycling center and ask what they take. That's usually your best option, though they may have rules about quantity or timing. And for anything hazardous, like paint, harsh chemicals, batteries, LED or energy saving bulbs, medications, those need special handling, not your regular trash. Your municipal waste department will have specific collection days for household hazardous waste, and some pharmacies take old medication for disposal. But again, call first, since they may not be able to take things like injectables. For batteries, look for those little battery bins at places like Home Depot and Lowe's. You can look up your nearest drop off at their locator online. So it's not just wherever you bought the battery, it's not a given that they have a collection spot, but it's anywhere in the Call to Recycle network. Call the number 2 Recycle. And you can look that up and see where they have bins in your network in your local town. And the bulbs, well, Home Depot has run an install program for CFL bulbs for years. LED bulbs are trickier. Most stores don't have a dedicated bin for them yet. So your municipal hazardous waste collection is usually the more reliable option here. Check your city's waste management site or give them a call and ask. So there you go, a few clear options for you post decluttering. So the stuff isn't sitting in your house for months because you're just not sure what to do with it and you feel guilty about just sending it to the nameless organization, right? Think of it as 4 possible paths for your unwanted things: sell, donate, recycle, or upcycle. And now you have a way to get rid of your clutter without throwing them in the trash and maybe getting into the hands of a person who really wants it, or giving it a second or third life even. And let me know if you have a tip that I missed here. Put it in the comments. Don't forget to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode, okay? Have a beautifully organized week. I'm Z, and I'll see you on the next episode.